Hi, my name is Monica Ramirez, and I teach English as a second language at the elementary level in Durham Public Schools. Teaching culture is relevant to my teaching setting because most of my students are from Mexico, Central America, and Africa. I feel it's important to appreciate the diverse backgrounds that my English language learners bring to the classroom because it helps me to foster cross cultural connections that motivate them to learn English and see themselves reflected in American culture. Some of my students do come from Indigenous groups in their native countries and would appreciate learning about and seeing the empowerment of Indigenous groups in South America. My family immigrated to the United States when I was only 3 years old, and I've always found that students are inspired and motivated to learn more when I share my story with them. The cultural theme that I would be interested in learning more about is the traditions and experiences of the 35 indigenous or native peoples in Argentina. As of the 2010 census, 955,000 so Argentinians are indigenous. The CIDRE program in 2024 will be visiting Buenos Aires in Argentina. And there are a high percentage of indigenous Argentinians that speak the native language, and a significant proportion of them are monolingual. Since the middle of the last century, indigenous Argentinians have migrated to urban centers like Buenos Aires because of the loss of their traditional farmlands and a desire for new economic opportunities in larger cities. Accompanying this migration has been a gradual loss of indigenous peoples' mother tongue or first language. As such, many of the younger generation no longer speak their heritage language. Efforts have been made to promote bilingual and intercultural education, but there really isn't a federal system in place for that. My theme focusing on the traditions and experience of Indigenous Argentinians ties into my teaching because I do teach students from diverse backgrounds, and some of them come from Indigenous communities themselves. I'm definitely not an expert on Argentinian culture. I was born in Chile in South America, but I am able to identify a couple of cultural resources that I think would help inform my cultural theme. There has been a significant presence of Native Americans in that area, and they all share a love for art, history, and the culture of the country that they're from. So I also have an art background, so I would like to study more about the art, music, and customs of these people and compare it to what my students enjoy in their classes here in Durham. Finally, I have a couple thoughts on how I would like to represent my theme. I saw that several of the previous projects by participants included use of a website called historypin.com. I like this website because it seems to allow me to present and teach my students about a theme while tying each story, photo, or video to a specific locale within Buenos Aires. Telling the stories of Indigenous peoples in this way is incredibly important because their stories have traditionally not been told, and at some times they've also been forced to vacate their land and uh, um, assimilate to a different culture. Um, let's see, the creative tools that I might use for engaging my students might include different things. Like I said, I have an art background as well. So I'm very interested in exploring what kind of artistic things they do to express themselves, what music they use, and all of those kinds of ideas. Thank you so much for taking the time to consider my candidacy for the North Carolina State CIDRE program. I really look forward to hearing back from you and learning more digital skills that will help me in the classroom and how to create portfolios. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.